Go.
Hello, and welcome to Critical ReRoll, the Critters podcast where we talk about Critical Role. And I don't know when we're starting, so this is a very poor start. Today we're discussing episode 8 of Campaign 2. I am Jess, two awesome people here. Please introduce yourself, starting with David.
Oh, starting with me. Hi, I'm David. I'm a critter. You can find me at Ruzgofdi on Twitter. RUZGOFDI.
And he's the guy that inspired the shirt he's wearing when they were made a long time ago. Is it that almost 3 years now?
Yeah, something like that. It was very early on. They were still doing the background character intros for the cast, because that's how I lined up the names on the shirt. It was like, put Matt up top, and then whoever, video 1, video 2, video 3, video 4.
Nice. And I'm Matt. I'm on this every week, and you're probably fed up with me, so we're making Jess talk more now.
No, I'm sorry, guys. This happened right before, so I'm sorry in advance. Let's jump in, though. So we are starting up. We were in the Knoll Cave. They discovered that it wasn't just gnolls they were dealing with. There was a manticore and a priest and a baby manticore that would have been so cute, except that Noah not murdered it. And Caleb burnt a dude alive, and apparently he's not so happy about that. We got to meet the super awesome new character, Shikasta, but we're starting up this episode, and Shikasta's already gone. They vanished without a trace. So at this point, they've returned to Allfield with the survivors. The number of which they're actually not sure of, because they question that later in the episode. And pretty much when we start up, we have Jester wondering if Shikasta was the Traveler. And everyone's like, don't you think if they're the Traveler, they would have told you? No! Would the Traveler admit to being the Traveler, guys?
Listen, I think he would, just because A, he knows nobody would believe him, and B, that seems like his MO. Like, he's there to just have fun and mess stuff up.
I don't know. It's one of those things where it's like, if you're a trickster, do you want to reveal that you're the trickster?
It's kind of like, and I hate that I've seen the show. I mean, the first couple seasons were good, but Supernatural, where they have, I forget which god was it, but he was like the trickster god, and he started like fucking around with the brothers. And then like he reveals that he is the one that's been playing tricks on him, but it doesn't stop him. He like does it more. So I feel like if they met the Traveler once, he's gonna be like a recurring character that's gonna look different each time, and probably like pretend to be a nice NPC, but it's just there to fuck shit up.
True. Mm-hmm. I mean, the only other thing would be that in the cosmology that Matt has kind of set up for the setting, it seems like there is a very big separation between here are the mortals and here are the gods, and never the twain shall meet. So the Traveler walking among mortals doesn't seem quite right, but I could certain theories that might exist about who the Traveler may actually be might suggest that he would be around.
Which is fun, because like with Sarah and Ray and with the Raven Queen, they kind of got delayed answers, but with the Traveler so far, he's been like right there at the other end of the phone anytime Jester's doing her thing, where like the very first episode where she like hears him laugh in her ear. Like he's there, he's somewhere.
Today's episode, or this episode, where she does that little prayer to the traveler and gets the response of her holy symbol feeling warm. So, yeah.
And he says, "I'm with you." In her ear.
And that whole scene was great because like she's just like getting outside, and I've never been with people, and I'll leave them if it means I can be with you, and blah, 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 blah. We can be friends, please.
Yep. We'll come back to that because
excellent.
It's amazing, and we have to. Something else they're sort of discussing as they re-enter into town is that Caleb seems to be the most shook by battle, like. And he gets asked, like, was this your first time killing? And he's like, no, but he was burnt alive. And there was sort of that, like, he did sort of freeze up more than others. He did seem more shell-shocked. And I've seen some discussion happening about his past, possibly being all sorts of things, a former soldier or a former prisoner, all sorts of things. Do you think that he is freezing up because he has PTSD, or do you think that Liam is just trying to play him as like a very human character that like is affected by death?
I don't know. I think it's still a little too early to tell. I don't know if it's the PTSD thing yet. Has he? I'm trying to remember now if he's actually managed to kill anything else in the campaign so far and had a reaction to it's not much. He hasn't had a reaction to killing other things, although I'm not sure how many other times he's been awake after he's killed them.
True.
He's always unconscious by the end of battle.
Well, like, because this is the second one that has specifically died being set on fire.
Right.
If it was just like a Liam decision, I think that would be it. Like, he's just playing a human that maybe has like is afraid of death because it's a thing that happens. But in this case, since it was Matt that made the decision, like, you need to make this roll like a wisdom saving throw after you kill this guy.
Yeah.
I feel like there is something backstory related. Just because he said like you have a flush of memories coming back, and this is maybe happened before.
Yeah, that strikes me as more of the there's something in his past that's causing this more than just, you know, it's something the DM is helping to enforce and cause beyond just, you know, Liam at the table deciding, oh, this is the first time he's seen something burned to death because of him. Yeah. I'm going to freak out now.
Yeah.
And this is, I think, one of the main puzzle pieces that we're missing is an age. Like, we don't know how old Caleb is. We don't know how long of a life experience he's had up to this point.
Mm-hmm. Axe Lobo in chat said, theory, Caleb is a reformed cultist.
Fun.
I'm not saying anything is true, but it's always fun to hear.
Certainly a possibility.
Yeah.
What kind of cult would he be involved with?
One with fire.
I've also seen the theory that, again, depending on the age, he may have been alive when events in the previous campaign occurred. Like, he was like a very
like not a baby, but like able to like retain memories from that.
A very young boy living in a certain city when a certain really big thing happened, and watched friends, family go up in flame.
Nicholas just said Caleb is an Emon refugee.
I was just gonna say that because at the end of the episode, he asks specifically on like when the Whitestone thing, or the Winter's Crest is.
And again, that might just be that because they're in a new area of the world, Liam and the players don't quite
right, they don't know
what
the actual holidays are, so they're like,
like
that's their only frame reference.
Winter holidays in our world are pretty much occurring around the world for a large number of places, but in this setting, one location's holiday may not be recognized on another continent because there's not enough crossing between the two.
Okay, and we do have somebody who says that it's been more or less confirmed that he's in his 30s. So yeah, he was a teen during the first campaign.
So there you go. That's pretty interesting. There's possibilities. I love all the backstory possibilities. And then also, I mean, I also wrote a note because, like, shortly thereafter, like, they do some more stuff, and Nott checks in on Caleb again, and, like, she tries to reassure Caleb, like, she says, like, oh, it's okay that you killed him, he was bad, and Caleb doesn't seem convinced. So I was just like, that to me was a little more like, is he just, like, wrestling with our, like, will someone think it's okay to kill me because I was a bad guy at some point? You know what I mean? Type thing. Or,
Well, and like, and he specifically said, like, I've killed in defense before. This one wasn't really in defense. He was mad because something attacked Nott.
Mm-hmm.
So this is like a vengeance kill.
Yeah, it's true. So then when they get back to town, Molly takes it upon himself to try and find where they need to go, looking for the best place possible to go. He, like, shouts out to the town, but standing right behind him is Kroot, the dwarf of the owner of the place they're already staying at, the Feed and Meat, I believe was the name. So they return there to drink and talk, and that's where we get to start analyzing treasures.
Yeah, their first
Was
time.
anyone particularly interested in any specific piece of treasure?
I'm kind of disappointed we don't get to know what Flesh Render does. The glaive. So it's 5 things. They get the night vision goggles, they get the wand of smiles, they get the glove that does scorching ray, the ring that lets you walk on water, the non-magical manacles, and then this really cool glaive with spikes on it. That only one person is proficient with, that he's settled in with his double sword technique.
I kind of want to see them really put the wand to use. Not because I want to see them, like, forcing smiles on just random people, although that's probably going to be pretty hilarious as it occurs just randomly throughout the campaign. It's that the Wand of Smiles, the way it works is it has 3 charges. When it recharges at dawn, so it'll have 3 charges every day. But if you use all of them up, you have to roll a d20. If you roll a 1, it turns into a Wand of Scowls. So instead of zapping a person and making them smile all day, or smile for a minute if they fail to save, it's you zap the person and they're, looking pissed off for a minute.
That's amazing. I didn't know that. That's so cool.
And it's the same thing. If it ever runs out and you roll a 1 on the check, it switches to the other one back and forth.
Oh,
that's fun. I like this. Is this a Xanathar's thing, or is this a?
Yes, it's one of the common items found in the Xanathar's Guide to Everything.
I love this guide. I still haven't looked at everything in it, but my favorite item is the hat, the wizard's hat, because you can, like, cast any cantrip as long as you make the successful save or check. And then you got the cape of billowing. Bonus action, just make the cape billow like there's a gust of wind. no combat stats or anything, just the best item.
Dramatic effect.
Yep.
There's also in there it's an armor type that basically, as a bonus action, you shed the armor.
Oh yeah. The breakaway.
Yeah, it's just like armor is off.
It's like
dance pants.
Pants.
Yep.
And it's I mean,
it makes sense because it takes like 15 minutes if you're like,
boom, armor's gone.
Or if something happens where you're drowning and that thing's winning.
Yeah, that's the big one. It's like, you were the paladin on a sailing ship and you were in full plate. What were you thinking?
That's super interesting, though.
Yeah, no, but the glaive, later on, something happens and Molly Mock is the one that grabs the glaive. It does something else other than just being like, it, like, he lit it up.
Yeah, he was like holding it. He made it look awesome too. He was being all dramatic and he's like, choo-choo, like.
Light it up.
Yeah.
Well, was that an effect of the glaive itself, or was that his ability that he has as a blunt hunter to turn
the
weapons on?
Oh, I could.
But did he scratch himself with it?
He might have, because his radiant, his ghost hunter or ghost slayer, you make things kind of radiate light a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I thought it was.
Lesson.
Well, now we'll never know.
But no, none of the items really spoke to me other than the glaive, because it's my favorite item ever. Weapon. What about you guys?
Else? for you, David? You said the Wand of Smiles was your main thing. I thought it was interesting when they discussed that the manacle had previously been magical, but that they were no longer. And both, I think at one point earlier, Molly made a comment that the monocles were kind of his thing, and then later on Ford made a comment. He's like, so do I get those now? I feel like he did some like poses.
I think he was just kind of upset. It was like, look, these are really heavy. Do I have to continue to carry these?
Nah, they freaks.
They were all just hinting at their freakier sides.
They were hinting at the hentai. What?
So I thought it was interesting. So we had Caleb identifying everything, and then people were trying to claim stuff, and like, you know, Jester being like, "Ooh, I want that. Ooh, I want that. Ooh, I want that." But afterwards, when like Caleb was like, "Fine, I won't keep anything," like Caleb kind of got bratty at the end there, and he was like, "Fine, then I won't take anything." She's like, "You can have your ring. Think how good it'll be. You can like walk on this.
You don't ever have to go in water."
Here was the best part. Here was the best part about all that is that when it got down to the glove, and he was kind of like, "Well, it doesn't really do anything. I'll just keep the glove, whatever." And Bo was kind of like, "Well, wait a minute. What's it do? Maybe, you know." Bo started going after Caleb about, you know, what's the deal with the glove, because he's not saying what the glove does at this point. And Caleb was just kind of like, "Hey, Jester, here, have a wand." And it's kind of like this. It's this perfect distraction as they kind of like, "Ooh, what does it do? Oh, it does this," and they play around with it for a few minutes, and he almost gets away with it. He almost like, "Here, distraction. We're going to give the shiny thing to Jester, and she's going to have a lot of fun with it for a few minutes." And then we'll just keep going on. But no, Bo was like, "Okay, yeah, that was a great discretion." So anyway, about the glove.
Yeah, Bo was pretty on top of it. There was even a little bit of like back and forth between them, and I thought that was interesting. Because I feel like the only in-group conflict we've seen so far is a little bit between Molly and Bo. But nothing too bad, just that, you know, you can see they're two characters that sort of rub each other the wrong way a little bit. So yeah, I feel like that was interesting, a little bit of like conflict there. So they all go back to they all get rooms, and actually at that moment, I don't even have this written down, I just remembered Bo actually paid for Caleb's room, being like, "Sorry, it was like kind of rude," and like paid for his room. So already they're fixing their problems themselves, guys. They're like,
character progression.
Good job. But we have Cat Frumpkin comes back. I made a note of that, and I made a heart with little cat ears on it. I was like, Cat Frumpkin, he's back. Our favorite Frumpkin.
Frumpkin spice latte.
But over in, more importantly, over in Jester and Bo's room, Jester is drawing things and trying to talk to the Traveler, and that's the moment that we sort of mentioned earlier, that she has that moment where she's like, she's missing.
I draw a baby manticore and it's dead.
I draw some gnolls and they're peeing. But like,
yeah,
go ahead.
I don't know. Each time the Traveler is kind of mentioned, or like this symbolism or whatever his holy symbol is mentioned, because it's a gate, and it's a being that is able to like interact with her on the material plane and not through the divine gate. Like it totally feels like if it's not Artagon or Artagan, however you say it, I don't know who it's gonna be. Yeah. But it feels like it's not like a higher pantheon god. It feels like it's a Vesh, like gonna be a god soon type thing.
Yeah. I didn't catch that on the first, like, when I was watching it the first time live. The second time when I went to do the playthrough, and I, like, specifically heard Matt say, like, you see, like, the symbol of a door arch in a path, and I was like, what? And I, like, paused and I rewinded. And I was like, around. Proof! This is proof!
Jumping around again later, they asked Jester more about her background, and they asked if like her mother taught her how to fight as well, and she's like, no, I learned that from the Traveler. So she's like, has she met this Traveler? I don't know.
200% when we get to that point. I have theories. I have theories.
Oh, cool.
But even just this
Your
like really heartwarming moment. And earlier she used the words like he's more like my best friend, and you like it's just so sweet seeing her. She's like I miss you so much, and like if I've never been with people before, and if I need to be alone to be with you, then I'll like leave these people basically. And it's like, oh my god.
Traveler is best imaginary friend.
Yes.
That's true.
Yes.
Oh man, I'm excited. If it is like that's again, other tie-ins to the previous campaign, I don't know, but this one is like my favorite. If there's any tie-in at all, like just Artagon, the most buck wild NPC that draws people weird and has a thing for autoerotic asphyxiation.
So moving on. In the same room, like Bo gives her a hanky. She's like, "You heard that?" She's like, "I'm sitting here. I'm in the same room as you." She's like, "In the meantime, though, I'm opening mail from the bomb box."
That was fun. I had forgotten she'd taken that, and it was only like one episode. Or no, it's been like 3 episodes.
Yeah. Do you guys think that's gonna go anywhere? Her little mystery that she found. Do you think she's just like holding a grudge against the bomb box, and any dirt she can find on them is gonna come back?
Go ahead.
I don't know. It's a possibility. Which I have something. I go ahead, Matt.
I mean, I was just gonna my thought because she opens like the regular like manifestation, like a ledger of delivery or whatever, and then there's a complaint, and she's like, and then the last one is like that weird note from the gentleman talking about this weird word that she couldn't read, and later she does the whole anagram and find out that bloodroot. I feel like that was just like a side quest that Matt's giving them. Like, hey, if you guys don't really know what you want to do right now, here's something you can do.
I'm kind of thinking that letters 3 and 4, the complaint and the bloodroot, might be the same thing. Because we have this guy who is complaining about the fact that the one family that is dealing with him is like, look, if next shipment you send to me, make sure there's not rats and rodents in the thing. Whatever animals got into the shipment of brew he got. And then the next letter is, okay, here's a poison we're going to send to you. That is not necessarily fatal. It just makes you have severe nausea and vomiting. So it feels like either this guy is that guy who's complaining about the purveyor of the Rotted Stump Tavern, which was the complaint writer, is just causing so much trouble complaining about all the stuff that he has to deal with from this one family, and here's the next letters from that family going, well, here's the next way you can screw with him. Make all his patrons sick. It's like they might be trying to drive him out of business for some reason because he's a thorn in their side.
It's interesting you went that way. My thought was they're getting this non-lethal but like obnoxious route to poison the other competing ale places so that their patrons stop buying, and they might have a rodent problem that they can't figure out the bomb box. So they're just going to keep selling their product but make everyone else just like the other competition products. So yeah, they might have a rat issue, but it's the best wine they can get because you don't get sick from it.
So we have some corporate espionage going on between all the breweries trying to screw the other company. I like that.
That's sort of where I thought too, because I was like, when they were there, like they talked a little bit more about how like there was like the competing families, the competing businesses, and stuff like that. And that's sort of where my brain went to. So the next day, they go.
Wait.
Oh, what? Go.
Skipped. You of all people skipped Ford that happened that night? Because Ford opts to stay in the tavern down below to do quote-unquote character study, and Matt kind of let slip. Hold on, where does it say? I wrote it down. I swear I wrote it down. Ford does some character study. He's looking for like, is he looking for a new form to take? Matt says he's like spending the time like looking at voices, paying attention to quirks. Kind of taking all that in, and Matt's the one that says it, and Travis is like, don't give away what I'm doing, Matt.
I love that when like Matt goes to describe and gives a little too much, and you can see that person, that actor, sort of like give him an eye, like, like you're giving them more than I wanted.
And that was your
Go ahead.
Does it?
What's really great is that that's one of my. Travis is doing one of my favorite things as possible to do with a warlock is the disguise self that you can just do it all the time. One of the things that I like to add to that little thing, when it's possible for the character to take the feat, there's a actor's feat that gives you advantages on like performance and deception checks when you're trying to do an impersonation of someone. This is where we all go and try and find it in the book.
Yep, I've got a bookmark. Actor.
I normally have all my books next to me, and I don't right now, so I can't get away with any sneaky searches.
You can mimic the speech of another person or the sounds made by other creatures. You must have heard them speaking or heard the creature for at least 1 minute. A successful check allows the listener to determine if it's fake. So it's possible that is a feat that he has. Because I don't know... Because they're only level 3, so they really shouldn't have too many feats unless there's something that started out with their character when they made them. But we know Caleb has the keen mind feat, so it's possible he let everyone else take maybe just 1 feat.
Yeah.
Or at the very least, it's something he's working toward so that when he gets to level 4 and has the option of advancing his
stats
or taking the feat, he could take the feat.
True. Or, I mean, it could be, training. Like, that's the thing you can do. You can train in skills. Sorry, didn't mean to...
No, I'm really, really glad you did. Thank you. I appreciate it.
I left my...
I did not have that note, and I'm very sad, and I'm glad
I was about to say styrofoam hat. What is the material? Aluminum foil.
Tinfoil hat.
I got it. Please move on.
Okay. So the next day, as I was saying, they go to hang out with one of our other favorite NPCs, Bryce. And they work out with Bryce how much money they're gonna get. And I love, like, Laura, like, she's some of them are hyena ears, but I'm not telling Bryce that. And Bryce, I think Matt describes that they are too tired to notice. They've been very busy. So the group gets, I think, over, what do I have here? 350, 35, 500. So over 800 gold.
It's 570 specifically for the gnolls, and there's other add-ons for
like the
people that survived that they brought back, and the bodies of the dead that they brought back for burial.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, they get jingles of money.
Yeah, they got lots of good money. But what's really important in this scene, what is most important, is that Bryce needs a name for their ledger. And, I mean, did you guys see this coming?
I knew they were going to use 9.
Did you really?
As much as I don't know, it seemed more of like an out-of-game joke, because it's not really said in-game ever. But I figured 9's been like the running joke for a while, so I'm like, it's going to be something with that. Well,
yeah, if they were going to go with a running joke, I imagine the 9 was going to be more likely than calling themselves the regular gnolls.
True.
That's fair.
Yeah, but who knows? How do you guys think about the name? Personally, it's not my favorite. I don't know. It seems off.
It's fun to shout the mighty 9, and they do have fun. And anytime a 9 comes up, it just makes it more amusing. The fact that there's not 9 of them makes it better.
And that it's completely spelt wrong. Because he just put a G in mighty.
the fact that they have to explain it to people, I like those aspects of it. But I do think that there's still time to workshop it, and I do hope that there's like a little bit of figuring it out and working with it, and
something happens in game, and they're like, oh, this is what we're really called.
Well, what I thought was more interesting is the fact that they needed to come up with this name for the group, because they're creating a paper trail now. As Molly seemed to be a little concerned about, was like, wait a minute, they're documenting the fact that we're okay. I guess this is a thing. But but
missed
they
that part.
needed a name for the group to put on the records of the crown for the
Which is like a big thing.
For the payment for the reward that they earn. So,
which to be fair with like travel, it's not gonna make it to like the crown for a while, their records. But they're on like an official record now. It's the Mighty Nine. So yeah, Molly, if he's trying to avoid any sort of lordship, he kind of let that one slip.
The only thing is that I wonder though, because it like the Crown Guard have been the guard in every town they've hit so far. It's been, from the guards that were dealing with the circus stuff in the first couple episodes to the stuff here. If it's on the records of the Crown, they might be in a very big area where knowledge of what they've done in the past might be something that's going to follow them. I mean, right now the only thing that they might get in trouble for is if somebody actually does an ear count and goes, "Hey, wait a minute."
Yeah, like, hey,
don't
hire this group called the Mighty Nine. They'll lie to you. And now, like, there's a group of bandits that know their name.
I see, and that's the other thing. Like, I like how they're promoting themselves with it already. That like Bo is chasing after them with like the Mighty Nine. Don't you forget it? But it's not 9. It's 9.
And there were 9 bandits that they fought.
I
so
know.
it's kind of like.
I think that's
like,
why I think.
We could have been called. Is that why you like destroyed that guy?
Well, there are only 8 bandits now.
But the even more important thing we get after that is Jester backstory.
Yes. Okay.
Oh, so much Jester backstory.
Yes.
And I believe every word of it because Jester would never lie to us.
Jester. I mean, unless there was a better story to tell, and then she's just doing us a favor by giving us the better story.
There is at least a kernel of truth here, because if this was completely fabricated, when Jester says to the Zoroaster, I don't remember his name.
I don't either. They're gonna become irrelevant, I'm sure.
Zoroaster Crush or something like that.
So yeah, when Jester starts trying to talk the Zoroaster into giving Ford a letter to the Academy, she has to invoke the Ruby of the Sea to get him to go along with it. So there's some kernel of truth.
Well, and when
to the story,
and when Ford rolled his history check, that is a real person.
Mm-hmm. But that's the thing; they're a super famous person, so everybody over there will know about him. So it could be possible that it's true. It could be possible that's lie, just because it's a public figure.
I don't see it being a lie, because we did have Jester, like, in her own time, in an earlier episode, writing to her mom for money. And actually, I know that, like, in my chat, like, in my channel when I'm hosting, several people were like, I think, like, I don't know where it came from, but several people were like, I bet Jester's mom owns a brothel. Several people said that. And I was like, where is this coming from? And then, like, here it is.
There it is.
It's like, doesn't own the brothel, but she's the star of
she is
Zadash. Wait, not Zadash, sorry.
She is the Asari consort on the Citadel. She is like the person to go to at that brothel if you have means to afford it.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
It being the woohoo, not the person.
Yes. How did they put it? She was she's mostly known for her
yeah, her but also for her beautiful voice.
Yeah. I just thought that was great. I honestly don't know if Matt thought she was gonna do that. It's just fun, like a whole is the Zoroaster here? Yes. The Ruby of the Sea says hello.
You didn't expect her to use it to threaten someone?
I didn't. Like, I knew all I knew is that she had that information that this Zoroaster person is someone that she had seen a long time ago. I figured she would blackmail him some way. I didn't know she was going to do it in such an intelligent way of getting a letter of recommendation to get them into this college. It's just, I don't know, really, really cool.
I did have, going through the entire story of Jester's life life with mom, and her search for her dad. I gotta look. I'll be honest. I got a really bad feeling about Dad.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people had the same sentiment. Do you have like a list of the things that were talked about with Jester's backstory, Jess? I kind of have bullet points. Do we want to go through these real quick?
He knew my mother, Ruby of the Sea, most prominent brothel in the Menagerie Coast, star courtesan, most known for and I love that Caleb had to request, he's like, what does that mean? She has sex with people for money! Like how much more spell?
Another reason, why would she lie? Like, Jester would never lie, I love it.
We also got the amazing song, which I'm not gonna sing.
The sea is the best sleigh ever.
Yeah, that really does sound better than the original Infernal.
Yeah, so we know that Jester's mom kept her a secret because it's kind of frowned upon for like the head person of a brothel to have a kid. Mm-hmm. Jester's out looking for her father, she said that they were in love, her parents, her father and mother, and that he left to go make room for her to come live with him and never came back.
Yeah. When she was saying it though, did she say they were going to get married or they got married and then he went to go do that? Because I couldn't hear her quite properly. It was a little bit muffled when she's like, telling the story kind of like,
I don't think they got married.
Okay.
I could be wrong. We have a chat room that will tell me I'm wrong.
Yeah. So she's in trouble she can't go back because she's in trouble in Nicodranus because she played a prank on a certain grumpy lord who now wants her dead. And
the people were like, yeah, that's okay, you can do it. Now back to what David was saying.
Yeah, I've got this kind of like the best situation I can think of regarding Jester's mom and dad is still not great. In that it might be a situation where dad, the plan was dad was going to go off and get money and try and be able to afford getting married and starting a family somewhere else. And then he just disappeared. Nobody knows what happened to him. So like the kind of bad thing is like, the bad version is dad was like, oh yes, I will come back for you in, X number of years once I've made my fortune and we can run away together. Peace, I'm gone. Like he was gone. He was never intending to come back, and Jester's off to try and find him. The sad yet kind of better version of that is that he had every intention of taking Jester's mom away from the life that she was leading and starting a family and having
something else happen.
Some other life. Happened. And someone at the brothel said, wait, she's our star attraction. If she goes, we go under.
I didn't think of that.
Yeah, good one. So
we don't have enough yet to know.
Jester's not the only one in the family that had a hit on her.
Aha!
So we don't know enough yet to know, if Dad was a good guy who had a bad thing happen to him because he was going to do a good thing, or if he was just, a not great guy who was, oh, you're pregnant. I'm going to go get a pack of cigarettes. See you in a week or 5 years. Maybe.
Well, and then the other thing, and they're talking about it in the chat, is we don't know like her parents' races. Mm-hmm. Like we just know her as Ruby of the Sea. Was she like a red-skinned tiefling? Was she a blue-skinned tiefling with like red ruby hair? Was her dad the tiefling and her mom some sort of humanoid? Other type of humanoid?
I've seen enough progress on Tess's art piece of the Ruby of the Sea. I'm going to go with the red-skinned tiefling for now.
See, but with that, like I feel like if she were human, that would be another reason why Jester was hidden away, because she is a tiefling.
That's true. That's a good point. I personally really like the idea of the Ruby of the Sea being a red tiefling, but I can see like that it fits the story, like you're saying, that she's more a regularish humanoid, a less, behorned humanoid. and like you said, they had to hide Jester because she because
This is
of a Mystique Nightcrawler situation.
Yeah, well, and this one's a fun one. So both mom and dad are human. Dad has an infernal lineage, and it passes on to Jester, and she came out of Tiefling. That would be fun.
That's a good one.
I just feel like, brothel aside, I feel like Jester was hidden away for different reasons that she doesn't know yet. And if she finds her father, if he's still alive, if he's still somewhere, then we're going to figure it out, and it's going to be real touching and real sad, and we're all going to cry.
Yeah. Especially, because...
Oh, and, right, and now, there's speculation on if she's ever going to hear back from her mom. Is, something happening back home where she's sent this letter and it's never going to come because something happened at the brothel.
Yeah, because she's clearly so used to her mom, giving her whatever she wants, and she's, fully expecting to get what she's asked for. And what's going to happen if she gets there and there's nothing there? Or there's a note that says, sorry, you're cut off, or... you know what I mean? Because maybe her mom is being, I don't know, under the influence of.
There's just 1,000 ways that.
There's so many things. There's so many things that could happen here.
With feelings.
But what I want to say from what we were talking about from earlier is I currently have the image in my head that we all assume at this point sweet lonely little Jester, imaginary friend, traveler, book. Sorry, I'm imagining her writing in a book very Tom Riddle style, in the diary, and the diary starts responding, and that sort of thing. Do you think? Do you think the traveler is someone she's met? You guys were saying, I think someone said this. Do you think she's met the traveler? The traveler was visited the brothel. If it's someone like Artigan, I could see Artigan being oh, this is the fanciest place in the world. I'm gonna go check it out. I could see him going and finding out that there's a lonely little tiefling girl hidden in the basement somewhere, and connecting with her. I could totally see that happening. So I'm I'm not so much. I think I saw someone suggest maybe the traveler is her dad. I'm not as connected to that theory.
Yeah,
but I can see him being a former patron or visitor, and then taking pity on the sad little tiefling girl. What do you guys think?
I'm trying to find it. There's this old. It was an image, and I don't know how to find it, but it's one of those oddly touching things. It's this picture of a little girl, and she's drawing out the pentagram. And there's a devil figure standing over her, and it's I'll always be with you to protect you or whatever. And it's a real touching image, but it's the connotation is weird because she's drawing a satanic symbol. I'm kind of getting that vibe now.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. I really like her backstory. It's fun.
Yep. True. Okay, if we're done with theories on that. I mean, that's still kind of the best. We get them starting on their travel. We get first night of camping, and everyone rolls super crappy on perception. There's a 10, a 9, and a 7, but nothing happens. Second night, shitty rolls again, and shit does happen. Shit hits the fan. We get... Basically, pretty much immediately, they're in a standoff situation. And I love when you stop and think about this scene, how quickly this would have gone down. There's quite a bit of description happening, and everyone's detailing what they're gonna do and all that sort of stuff. This would have happened in 6 seconds. It would have been literally everyone's just poof, everyone fires.
It was a legitimate high noon situation because in spaghetti westerns or whatever, those are described as the meow meow and it taking a long time. But no, it's just point and click. That's the whole thing that happened.
Yeah. We do have Caleb trying to stop the situation before it happened by claiming they all have super syphilis? Super syphilis?
The syphilis.
Extreme
syphilis.
I'm too much a child of the 90s to not do that. They're extreme syphilis.
Well, it goes with his hardcore cultist background now.
And I like that. I like Knott's is it getting worse, Papa, or whatever? A little goblin girl. Yeah, I'm scared of shit at anybody. That scene was fun, and
Yes.
I like that they Uncle Iro'd them afterwards. Like
Oh.
not Legend of Korra, the first one. Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Avatar.
They make it a teaching moment of, you know, you guys are really bad at this. Maybe this isn't the line of work for you.
And
Take off all your clothes.
It was Molly that did that too, wasn't it? That was making the
and Molly and Jester are like the two characters that I'm invested in so far.
Because Molly also did that earlier in the episode when they get back to town after rescuing people from the Knoll stuff. They go to the bar, and everybody at the bar was like, "Hey, you rescued people from our town. Let's buy you drinks." So they were not paying for any other beverages that night, except that Molly was taking it upon himself that anybody who bought drinks for the party, he would like slide a silver coin into their coin pouch,
right,
to pay for the drinks that they were being bought. So he's going around with now doing this to the bandits. Like, you tried to rob us, you failed miserably. Here, have some money.
Some advice: stop being bandits.
Yeah, no, he's the party's like biggest ogre with all the layers he has.
Oh, I was gonna say, I think Molly's actually the nice guy. I think we got like nice guy Molly. Like, honestly, like, he presents as like sort of not giving a fuck, but he's actually the sweetest. Like, he's actually
he is less an ogre and more a parfait. Parfaits also have layers,
but are sweeter.
There we go. There's the Shrek reference I was hoping for. I almost had it.
I'm wondering if we'll get. I'm wondering if we'll.
Were you wondering if we'll get a Lord Farquaad character? I think we might.
Who do you think it's going to be?
It's going to be whoever is running.
Oh, it's going to be the one that's following Jester. The one that's trying to get Jester killed is actually a Lord Farquaad character. This grumpy little lord. No, I was going to say, I'm wondering if we're going to, if Molly's going to continue this trend of being the nicest one, or if it's going to turn out Molly only is like supremely, extremely amazing nice to lower class citizens. You know what I mean? Really cares about the underdog, having been one for a long time, and I feel like I could really see him
fucking over the patriarchy.
Well, I mean, like
Robin Hood style, yeah.
Well, yeah. Part of it is that it after they got when they split up the initial loot that they got from the rescue. At that point, before they got another, 500 plus gold to split amongst the party, Molly was like, "This is more money than I have ever seen in my life." He just, I certainly, there's this aspect of him probably going like, "I certainly can't spend all of this on myself. Mm-hmm. Sure, I'll give some to people that could use it. Why not? It's just a reaction to, I have more money than ever."
Mm-hmm. Whereas, like, Jester's like, "I can teach you how to spend money. You just buy clothing for your horses."
And then forget where you left it.
And donuts.
And then leave those horses behind.
And donuts.
Yep. But yeah, I love that standoff. We have Caleb just get, I think someone in chat called him a pincushion. Just take all the arrows and Bo trying to be all heroic, stops one, but it's like it doesn't matter. He's down. Our pincushion is down, and meanwhile the bandits are like, "Where's Trevor?" Trevor's gone, guys. Trevor's gone. And I just love Matt getting to do the voices of all the characters at the same time. They're like, "I'm the boss. Fuck you."
It's yourself.
And it gives them each a coin, and it's like, yep. Through the line. Yeah. So
that was just a fun scene that happened real quick. And they got 4 more horses out of it.
They got 4. Yeah. What were the names? I did not take the names.
It was John, Luke, Crapper, and Toilet.
Yes.
Because they all had to be water closet related.
Yep. Exactly.
I have to ask, because I haven't been keeping track. Do they have a horse named Bidet yet?
I don't think they do. They have. Did they name the 2 new ones? Because they got 2 new ones, or did they keep WC?
I don't know. I like I said,
that should be a Talks Machina question.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Need 2 seconds. Okay.
After the show, Matt. After the show.
Okay.
So we get them. They go back to traveling. It starts raining, and there's nothing they can do about it because they're all low-level characters and they don't have anything to do with it.
We do get some more world-building stuff, which is real fun.
Go ahead.
After the whole graveyard scene, unless there's anything about that. I mean, it kind of just happened.
Yeah, I didn't have too many opinions about the.
But the helmet that they find, we learn about the. I couldn't understand if it was a Julius or Julius Dominion, but it was like 2 centuries prior. It was the last remaining empire before the Dwendalian Empire kind of took over.
Mm-hmm.
And it was neat that he made it specific that like the Dwendalian Empire wasn't interested in like assimilating their culture or like the Julius culture to theirs. They kind of just like let it be, but they're under Dwendalian Empire control now.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was really cool. I don't know. I'm like trying to learn how to build worlds and like little tidbits of information like this are like they don't mean a lot maybe in game, but like it was cool that he had the forethought to like make this little thing. It was meaningful.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I got.
That's good. Since we were speaking of Molly's hatred of the patriarchy, someone in chat, Nicholas in chat, said Taliesin actually mentioned on Talks Machina once that if Bo turns out to be a bored rich kid, Molly will not give a shit what happens to her, basically. So I think that does go to show that he's probably going to have a little bit disdain for people with money. Which is interesting. Which is an interesting thing to see.
Which begs the question: was like any of the backstory that Molly's given us true about his family being captives? Like, I don't really think they were sacrificed, but I think he was like captive or like kind of, I don't know, hostage, not hostage. I don't know. There's a word I can't think of it.
It's okay. I'm gonna skip ahead a little bit.
Do it.
Okay, so I mean, because sometimes someone in chat said sometimes a graveyard is just a graveyard. So, so we didn't have like, even though I think they had some decent checks, we got like a little bit of history, and that was interesting. It's good to hear that little bit of world building, like you said. But they proceed on.
Sometimes a box of a loved one's remains that you want buried in an important place is just a box of someone's remains.
It wasn't. You're lying. You're a liar. This is what opened up the divine gate and let the traveler through.
Oh man.
Moving on. Yes.
Can we talk about Pumat Sol?
I still love that. Go ahead.
I was like, can we talk about Pumat Sol yet?
Yes, I was literally gonna jump ahead. I was like,
that's why we're jumping ahead, because Jess wants to get to him.
Yes, because literally,
like we got the really cool shady guy, and it was nice.
They get to Sadash. They meet Ulysses Stardash.
That's right.
I can't read my own writing.
Ziggy
Ulysses
Stardust.
something, and I don't care. He was okay. That's fine. We got a bunch of interesting store names. I drew a bunch of stores on my paper. That's great. All anyone cares about is Pumat Sol. Pumat Sol, guys. I'll let you go. Do you guys want to go first?
No, you go ahead. It was great. We got to watch your reaction as you learned about him, and it was the best.
So guys, before we went live, I was literally watching Pumat Sol because I had missed it. Because when I watched live, I fell asleep. So I was watching it, and I had been avoiding spoilers, and I watched it, and these guys had to put up with me just, like, screaming. Because I was just dying at how cute he is, and how much I love him, and he's so sweet, and he's so polite, and... Oh my god. And I didn't know what Matt was. Did you guys know right away that he was a furball? Because I didn't. When Matt was first describing him, and he's like 7 feet, kind of fuzzy, and I'm trying to imagine this.
Pause for 2 seconds.
Okay.
There is the one thing about the fancy guy. He recognized Molly's kind of bloodline, the Zosian. I forget. I don't know how to pronounce it. But like I don't want to make anybody with this type of blood mad.
Oh.
Yeah, I meant to like go back and rewatch that because it was important. But because the whole thing about being a purple tiefling apparently is a legit thing in this world where it's pretty rare.
Really?
Because when he was asking, he's like, "Is there any like bathhouse or anywhere I could go where somebody like me with like horned folk would be accepted and not like attacked?" And he's like, I'd hate to piss off somebody with Zenosian blood or something like that." I don't know, just a little tidbit of information that we don't know what to do with yet.
And is that something specific? That's not something that we've seen. It's not written in Matt's book or anything, is it? What's
so because this whole continent's like new in comparison to the book.
Guys, that's so interesting. No, because I heard that part. I thought he had said like Zemnian blood or something like that. So I thought he was talking about Caleb. So I didn't even I completely ignored that part because I thought he was just.
Thank you, Kate. It's the next empire over.
Next empire over.
So maybe it's like a big.
All dark and Romanian. Ooh, that's interesting. So that's something. That's something, guys. That's something to keep your eyes open and ears also open for.
Yes.
Eyes and ears.
If you guys know any more of that, please yell at us in the chat because it completely missed my radar.
Yeah.
Because Pumat Sol.
Because Pumat Sol. Yeah.
But yeah, no. Fulborg's, blah, 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 blah. The dyslexic person's worst nightmare to pronounce.
And
yes, I thought he was a bugbear too.
Oh,
and
first. Sorry, go ahead.
And as we kind of pointed out in the pre-show when we were talking to each other, it like somebody mentioned like horns in the description of the guy, and I think that kind of threw a large number of people like do they have
in that
horns?
Description? He's 7 feet tall. He's got bushy brown hair, grayish brown fur, wide nose, cowish. Long, elegant robe, and green and
big
gold.
Smile, and every time Matt goes to talk like him, he makes a big mouth face, and it's so cute.
When Caleb, like his first words, like, "Oh, those horns," like they say something about horns. There's no horns.
Yeah, there's no horns. I just think it was a little misunderstanding, honestly. Yeah. But like half a second, I was like Minotaur for like half a second there. Because he said cow nose and horns and like big and bulky, and for half a second I was like, Minotaur? Like that's interesting. But no, for Bug, that's also awesome, and I'm excited and I love him already.
Yep. I need 7 more of them, which could be a possibility.
Oh, go ahead and give that one.
Do it.
You wanted to talk about how he's going to be everywhere. You wanted to be
I mean, I tweeted it out, and I think most people saw it, but I want them to be the Officer Jenny Nurse Joy character, where, like, this area is the one that's focused on enchanting, but then there's, like, another one in the next town over that's focused on, like, magical weapons, and then there's another one over here that's working, like, on, like, wearable magic items.
Oh, wow.
Just
like
Pumat Sol. I'm not the Pumat Sol from Zadash. You're thinking of my brother Pumat Sol from.
He has achieved what Gilmore wanted, which is to actually have a chain of stores.
He franchised us
just that there's
himself.
Yes.
You can't trust anyone else to run your shop. It's got to be you. So why not make 10 U's?
Because there could be like Artificer Pumat Sol or like Evocationalist Pumat Sol or whatever the ones they have.
And I'm just trying to think of the only how he could have done that.
The thing that I saw that I thought at first, because I just thought it was the 2 copies, I thought it was just a simulacrum. But he could, because I'm assuming this guy is a high-level caster, so he could have done simulacrum.
Yeah.
Could have done simulacrum, and then that one could have done simulacrum, and just a chain of copies.
That's a possibility. I mean, I was looking at the high end. I was like, what's the, what spell do we have to get to do this all with one go, as opposed to like 5 or 7 spells to get the same effect.
Actually interact with things and not just be illusions.
Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking we've seen someone use a wish previously to create another version of themselves. And, is this guy just, he's wished himself to have, 4 or 5 or however many we're going to end up seeing versions of himself?
We can hope. I can hope. I have hopes.
Yeah. And also for a second, before it was actually evident that they were identical, I thought they were just very, very, very similar. But then when he was like, no, they're identical. They're the same person, over and over again. I was like...
And the trading off of the sentence... Well, I'm going to need to. I got it. We're going that really helps sell the fact that they're
the same.
They're the same person, because you've got them working together that well. It's kind of
the guy didn't try to hide that. He was like, "I am Pumat Sol. This is also Pumat Sol."
And in the back is Pumat Sol Prime, or
that was just Pumat Prime. I don't think he said Soul Prime. So there could be something with the soul, and I thought about looking up different definitions for soul, because it's usually just like light or sun. But there could be some other definition, I don't know.
I saw someone make a comment, or was it them on screen, or was it in comments? Someone was like, "Pumat Sol." Was this because like poor Matt is gonna have to like his poor soul is gonna have to be like, but Matt looks so happy doing him, and I want to see. Oh my god, I just love Matt doing him because he's so good at like starting a thing and then continuing as the next Pumat Sol.
Yeah, like you can always tell when he's made an NPC that he likes because he just has a blast playing them. Like that's why Kima and Allura and Gilmore ring so many bells because they like that. Matt loved that character.
Yeah.
We must protect Pumat Sol at all cost.
Yes, Pumat Sol.
One of them. We have to make sure there's at least one to make copies in the future. Just protect one of them. All of them if we can, but at least one of them.
Well, I mean, it was more interesting because like I don't know if the different Pumats are like hive mind connected. Or if they're just really good at hearing, or maybe like the 3 not original Pumat Sols are, because they were like talking and interacting as though they could kind of share hearing senses, or like when Matt described him turning around and like ducking under the candle, but he said it's because he was so practiced at doing it. My initial thought was like the other ones saw it, so he knew it was there and ducked under it.
That's an interesting thought.
But that was kind of debunked when the one Pumat Sol had to go back and talk to Pumat Prime about making it pink.
Yeah.
He actually had to like walk back there. So I was told I needed to go make it pink.
Yeah. They can't be sharing a mind. No, I think it's more just that they are literally all identically the same person, so they think identically the same, but they do not share, a mind that they can psychically connect. They just all think identically and work so in sync that we get that absolutely amazing effect of them just being the most adorable thing ever.
Do we think anything weird of like the name, the Invulnerable Vagrant?
I was wondering if that was like the name for the store, because from the outside it wasn't being rained upon, or if that's how Pumat views himself. Or, like, does he view himself as a vagrant, as a furbolg, sort of outside of normal society, but he is, in fact, invulnerable? Maybe he's hinting to us that he is invulnerable. Like, if you whack Pumat Prime, will another Pumat Sol pop out?
If that actually happens, Taliesin would probably just die of shock and have happiness because I think he loves. I think he loves Madrox from the X Factor.
What is the Gremlins race? What is the race called?
Which one?
The Gremlins, like Gizmo is what's the race?
Mogwai.
Mogwai. What if they're like Mogwai related because they can't get wet? And like they're just singing, and they're not getting wet by rain. So maybe that's Gizmo in the back that's working on things, and these are like gremlins that he's tamed.
Oh, boy.
The imagery's there. It's a big furry thing. His establishments just happen to not be wet.
Yeah, absolutely does not allow any. Is that why Matt had it start raining for them to go in? Like, it was a mix of like showcase, like he was ready to showcase this store.
God, I can't wait to show my friends this thing. I made this. Look at it.
Look at this amazing thing I made! Oh my god. I love you, Matt. I love this so much.
What sort of like water bending nonsense is he pulling here? How are you keeping the rain from hitting on this area?
I'm sure there's
magically manifested duplicates to aid his work.
What class do you think he is?
I want to say he's wizard, but he made like a dig at wizards when Caleb was
wizard stuff.
Oh yeah, that's wizard stuff. Like, is he sorcerer?
No offense, but that's a rather paltry amount.
Yeah.
I love him so much.
It's a paltry amount.
It's certainly possible he could be a sorcerer. I mean, he could also. Now, that's an idea.
Because Matt said the whole thing with Filborgs is that they're kind of wild folk. They live in the woods and are kind of usually like druid type. Mm-hmm. But it's odd that this one lives in the city, so maybe he has some sort of sorceress origin. It's like, oh, I got this magic, I'm going to go learn how to use it, and I'm going to start a shop. And then I'm going to make three that like
possibly an idea that has sprung into my mind that I'm not sure if we can follow it all the way out What if he himself is an artificer? Something like what Terry used to be.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Terry made magic weapons, and that's what this guy does. He makes like the Hayward's Haversack.
So in that case, all of the copies might not be a magical
robots.
They're just
with like this guy's person still. Sorry, I didn't mean to like steal your thunder. Oh, that's cool.
And there's so much, and they're so much better than Dodie, just because they seem to have at least mastered basic communication skills beyond Terry.
Where's this thing? Choo-choo. I like this comment. So he magically cleaned Caleb. I wonder how long it'll take Caleb to get dirty again. I say the second he walks out with his 2 pockets of mud.
I was wondering, like, Caleb seemed pretty perturbed about it, like, once it got to his head, and I've seen some things about, like, even remember when we saw him bathing, he made sure not to clean his head and face, and there have been some theories, like, oh, just because, for no reason, because he's sort of, like, hiding, so he stays a little dirty, or, like, a lot of things. Do you think, like, I don't know, do you think there's something special? I don't think we're going to see anything, because I don't think Caleb is going to react, having not visibly seen it sort of happening to himself. I don't think he's going to react any differently.
Well, yeah, like he did say, like, I don't see myself. I don't know what changed. And he didn't, like, describe Caleb looking any different.
No, but that's what I'm wondering. I'm wondering if Caleb knew. I don't know.
I feel like if he was hiding any sort of cosmetic thing that was covered with makeup,
it would have had to have come out at that point.
Yeah, like it would have had to. Like I don't think prestidigitation is something that you can like hone in on just dirt and pull it off. It like cleans whatever you're pointing at.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's gonna. If I remember right, there is like a certain like size of area you can clean,
like
but because it's a but because it's a cantrip, it's kind of like I'm just gonna keep doing this every 6 seconds until it's done. It's done. Great.
Well, that's like one of those like you can cast it 3 times kind of at once to get the same or different effects or something like that. Caleb, you're beautiful.
You think he's gonna just walk out into the rain and just like fall down into a mud puddle and just like roll in it? Just
it's that rom-com thing where like afterwards he like turns his head and he takes his glasses off.
He just does a full like hair shake. He's like, there's like sparkles.
I'm wondering because on the way in, he took a moment to like, oh, here's a big puddle of mud. I'm going to gather some and put it in my pockets. I'm going to wonder if that's actually been cleaned away, so to speak. If he's going to go outside and like, oh man, I was going to use that for spells.
No, he has no mud. He has
no mud.
Although it's still raining, he can go and get.
Yeah. There's no shortage of mud. Furry robots, Furbies. That is a terrible thing to think about. Thank you, King Sundu.
Someone said, what if, Dustin said if vagrant refers to the store, because someone earlier in chat said, what if the store travels? What if the store moves?
Interesting. What is the definition of vagrant? Isn't that just like a dirty hobo folk?
Yeah, but isn't it someone like that's on the move? Not necessarily, but doesn't have a home. Sort of like a dirty homeless person, which is so horrible to say out loud, and I feel really bad having just said those words.
A person without a home who regularly wanders from place to place.
Yes, someone who moves around.
Interesting. Maybe that's why he's invulnerable, because he's never gotten caught.
So is it referring to him moving around, or does the store move around? Does it magically just, like, disappear?
I think it would be him, like Pumat Prime, because maybe he's gotten this reputation of being invulnerable. Maybe he's been attacked several times, but he's only killed the clones. So like, how are you still alive? He's invulnerable.
Could be like, have you ever seen Howl's Moving Castle? They have a magical doorknob, and when they spin it, they change places.
That's fun. I've never seen that. I need to. It's on my list.
So literally the store just travels every time he like spins it, and just like, boop, now we're over here. We're invulnerable because we're on the move. That's it. I don't know. Do you guys have anything else? I think we're at the end, unless anyone has anything to add or contribute, comment, communicate, questions, answers, song and dance routines.
My last note is I'm going to be sad when something has happened and Jester's mom doesn't send her money.
Yeah. I ended on the happy note of Pumat Sol. The end of my paper is just Pumat Sol in pink and purple writing with like squiggles and exclamation points, and like that's.
Oh,
that's
one thing that we haven't mentioned at all on the podcast. Congratulations, Laura and Travis.
Oh yeah!
Yes. Congratulations
on your new stat sheet.
Oh, and Dustin would like to communicate something.
What do you want, Dustin? What's up?
Speaking of this, while he's replying, speaking of the stat sheet, that's another question that I'm probably going to send into Talks Machina when this is over. Is like, okay, whose idea was it to do the stat sheet? Because that's a really cute, brilliant way to do a birth announcement. I don't know the terminology. Birth announcement that they are expecting
just announcement.
a child. That's the okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look at page 99 of the Totodile guide really quick. Thank you, Kate.
Why did I say something? Oh, stuff on the 99. Oh my God, Kate, you're so good. Thank you so much. I love the fan art for Pumat Sol as a moose. Oh my God. Ax Lobo, I'm at go_JG on Twitter. Please send me that. I need it in my life. I've actually been like I said, because I missed the end. I had several people direct message me and say there's a new NPC, you are gonna love them, avoid spoilers, and I've been avoiding spoilers, and I now need all the Pumat Sol art in my life, so anyone that wants to send the Pumat Sol art at my face, please do, because I need to see it.
For Jess's soul.
Aww.
Okay, here's the paragraph. Across the eastern borders of the Dwendalian Empire lay the lands of Zorhas, a smaller empire built on the ruins of Gordranus, the ancient city of the Betrayer Gods. A bleak landscape with little resources of value, the Dwendalian Empire generally minds its own borders, away from the mysterious and misunderstood rule of the Empress Leilas Kren and her wasteland of the Zorhas Empire. However, the recent attacks on outlier townships, both sides of Wynendir, threaten to brew conflict between the two nations.
That's interesting. That sounds like an interesting area.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
And we're in it.
I feel like there's not going to be like a big bad entity of this campaign. I feel like it's going to be warring nations, which I'm excited about.
Yeah, I think it's not going to be, like you said, it's not going to be a person. It's going to be sort of like the problems of the region, the problems of areas fighting, the problems of the fact that there's so much control over people in this area. So it's perfect for Molly, who's going to fight the patriarchy.
Yeah.
I like that you chose that word, so I'm continuing with it now because it is now my new favorite thing.
That's just what needs to happen everywhere, I think. Topple the patriarchy. I'm good. I got nothing.
Just one serious moment here. As a public service announcement, please do not twist before sneezing. For your own safety,
before you should.
Just into the elbow, or a handkerchief. Cover your mouth so you do not. But for your own safety, do not do a full half body twist before sneezing.
Like
it might be a bad thing.
Don't start the twist on the inhale, and then proceed outward with it.
Like is there like some sort of study we can find if that was the first like physical injury during Dungeons and Dragons?
I imagine there probably has been physical.
I feel like
or if it's all of the exact same injury. Like I don't want to sneeze on the board.
It's all twisting injuries.
Marisha, we certainly hope you are feeling better after the unfortunate incident.
Everyone is feeling okay. Everyone has fought off their flus and recovered from their broken ribs and
successfully escaped urgent care bathrooms.
It's only twisting with their shouting. Yes,
that's right.
It's not getting cask of amontillado into bricked into bathrooms, basically.
Mm-hmm. It's been an interesting week.
I think we're done here. Are we good?
Cool.
I guess I'm gonna say, if no one has anything else, thank you guys for coming. Should we do a want to say where people find you again, or a bye, or a thanks, or all those things?
Matt, you started this time.
Oh, I'm Matt Abernathy. You can find me at Matt_Abernathy on Twitter. I shitpost.
This is true. Extremely true.
I'm David. You can find me at Ruzgofdi on Twitter. RUZGOFDI. I also probably do a large amount of shit posting myself. Let's be perfectly honest.
I'm Jess. Go_JG on Twitter. Please send me all of the Pumat Sol art, and I will love you forever. Thanks so much for everyone that came out and chatted and talked and gave us questions and answers and all those things. Catchphrases. Thanks so much. I guess we're gonna say bye.
Bye.